Hi, everyone. Welcome to a collective tarot reading with me, Bettina from Witchy for the Lori Project. On a great day to do a reading, you probably know, I'm assuming you've heard that we have a solar eclipse today happening right now. It started earlier today, but we're in that portal. And we are in an eclipse season, an eclipse portal for the next 2 weeks, starting today. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to get into some cards. But yeah, it's a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Leo. We are in Leo season. We just had Jupiter move into Leo. I think we talked about this the last time we met. These eclipses are working with the South Node in Leo and the North Node in Aquarius. South Node has to do with things that are moving into the past. North Node has to do with destiny and what we're moving towards. So even though we are in this Leo season, part of what this moment, this eclipse is about is doing our shadow work and our releases and all of these things on the dark side of Leo and calling in the light side of Aquarius. So things like that. I mean, one thing I've been thinking about a lot with all of this Leo energy that we're experiencing and releasing shadow sides of Leo are things around fear about being seen, fear of using your voice, self-centeredness, navel gazing, all of these things. Those are things that we can kind of cleanse away and call in the positives of Leo, which is about heart-centered leadership and speaking our truth and being in our magnetism and charisma and asking for what we want and being visible and all of those good things, being loving. But that North Node of Aquarius also thinks about the collective, and it's a very humanitarian kind of energy and a very important energy in this time that we are alive, to really think of all beings on this earth, all of our neighbors, no matter our differences, think of them as loved ones and take them into consideration in the choices that we're making and all of that. So lots of potent energy today. On a more personal level today, as always with new moons, it's a really good time to kind of think about what seeds you want to be planting, especially looking forward to the next 6 months, the next year. Kind of where do you want to look back on and be like, wow, I achieved that goal, or I made that change in my lifestyle, or I manifested that thing, or like this relationship is healthier than it was before. This relationship with myself has improved. Today's a really nice time to kind of make those wishes and cast those spells from a really positive, solar, sunny place, which is so much what this season is about too, is just the power of optimism and asking for what we want. So those are some of the energetics that we have today. It's really nice to be sitting with all of you on this day. So I hope everyone is feeling well on this eclipse moment. And if not, I hope that we can bring you some joy and some nice things to reflect on through this reading. As always, you can communicate with me in the chat. What I am going to do is guide you through a very short meditation now, so we can just ground together into the present moment, connect with our higher self, connect with a question for the cards today, a topic area, something that we are looking for guidance on right now. And that guidance is going to come from you, from your intuition. Ultimately, what this deck of cards is for connecting you with the mystery and the wisdom that's already inside of you. So we'll do that little meditation. We'll come up with a question for ourselves. I will then ask you to decide whether card number 1, 2, 3, or 4 holds the message for you today. And then I will interpret cards. And that number that you pick will be the card that is speaking the most loudly to you today, but we can also thread together the 4 cards that come up into a collective message. There'll be something for all of us in every single card. So stay tuned in through the whole thing so you can get the interpretation for all 4 cards that we're going to pull. Okay, so to begin, let's just take a breath together. Let's find our seat. Let's find some comfort in wherever we are right now. You can close your eyes, or just cast them downwards. Just start to bring a sense of relaxation to your body using your breath, taking deep breaths in through your nose and exhaling through your nose or mouth. Maybe exhaling a little bit longer than your inhale, as long as you can. I like to use sometimes the mantra here, just while I breathe, just to bring myself into the now, or be here now. A little Ram Dass glimmer to help us ground into the present moment. And as you breathe, bring your attention all the way down to the soles of your feet, whether you have them planted on the floor beneath you, whether you're lying down, whether you have your legs crossed underneath you. Just bring your awareness to the earth, to wherever your body is touching the earth. And allow that sense of contact to ground you and locate you in the here and now. And then bring your attention up to your heart space. Feel it expand and contract with your breath. You can think of your heart as a compass, as a faithful guide when you don't know what to do. And so while you're breathing here into this space in your chest, feeling your breath expand you as you breathe in, ask your heart what you'd like to bring to the cards today. Ask that simple question and just see what comes. You don't have to force it or judge it. Maybe it's a word, maybe it's an image, maybe it's a very clear question. Maybe it's just an area of life. And if nothing in particular is coming up, we can just allow the cards to lead and just say that your question is, bring me clarity, or bring me a message that my soul needs to hear today. Or what is this eclipse clearing out? Or what is this eclipse wanting to create inside of me? Or what is my intention? And now bring your awareness to the space around you, beyond the skin, kind of like the aura, the energetic spirit space around you. Just feeling that connection to the beyond. And ask yourself right now whether card number 1, 2, 3, or 4 has the most poignant and important message for you today. Whichever number pops to mind first is the one that you should go with. And whenever you're ready, you can start to open your eyes and come back, and we will dive into some tarot together. Okay, so we have 4 cards here. If you picked number 1, you've got the 8 of Cups. If you picked number 2, you've got the Knight of Cups. If you picked number 3, you have our major arcana for today. We have the Chariot. And if you picked number 4, you have the reversed 4 of Cups. So very interesting that there's this focus on cups. All of the cards, except for the major arcana, are in the water element. You can think of cups as hearts in a regular suit of cards. I'm getting a note here. Yeah, it's hearts in a regular suit of cards, which indicates what it's about. Cups is all about your emotional life, how you feel, that heart space that we were just meditating with, your relationships with the people in your life, with your friendships, your lovers, your family, but also your relationship with yourself. So it's all about the emotional body. So it's very interesting because we are in this very fiery season, like I said, of Leo, and we have this solar eclipse today, and we're in the year of the fire horse, as we keep coming back to. And really, the way to balance out the sort of, the big energy, the heat, the creativity, the action-oriented, sometimes intensity of fire is to ground it into water. It's a good counterbalance. So it's very interesting that we have all these cups cards coming up. That tells me that part of the larger message of this eclipse for us, for this group, is all about, counteracting that fire by making sure we are feeling very kind of nourished in our emotional space. Emotional health feels very important with this reading. The Chariot brings a very different energy. The Chariot really does kind of feel like that kind of fire horse vibe of galloping forward and turning a chapter. So I kind of like that this reading is talking about both. It almost feels like balanced and healthy forward movement, like the right balance between like moving ahead, but also taking your time. We don't want to be stuck. We have this 4 of Cups card here at the end that talks about stagnant energy and how to make sure we keep moving. We have that Chariot taking us forward, but we're also I think it's all about doing things at a pace that feels both like we're pushing our edge, but we're also not stressing ourselves out, is the wider message I'm seeing for this group of cards. Now let's dive into each one. So if you picked card number 1, you're in this 8 of Cups energy, which is all about healing our attachments, really. Like if you've heard about attachment theory, secure attachment, avoidant attachment, all of that kind of thing, that's a part of it. But just things that we are sort of emotionally bound to, tied to in general. With the 8 of Cups, we're healing that. We're sometimes releasing an attachment. We're sometimes letting something go that has served an emotional purpose for us, perhaps for a really long time. And now we're ready to evolve away from it. We've expanded our nervous system capacity that we can actually go on without that attachment. Sometimes it's literally a relationship. Sometimes it's a habit or something that we do to kind of cope. Often when this card comes up, people are letting go of a habit. Maybe they want to drink less, or they want to scroll their phone less, or they're going to fully stop, or they're going to go through some sort of period of sobriety, or we're just letting go of, I don't know, eating something that wasn't always feeling so great in your body. Like the 8 of Cups really is about kind of being like, was that something that I was actually doing out of alignment, or was I doing it out of coping or self-soothing in some way? So we really increase our emotional capacity with the 8 of Cups. But what this card requires us to do is to realize that we are ready to walk away from that thing. I sometimes think of it as kind of like when you're a little kid and you have people have like the safety blanket or whatever. Like this is kind of when you're like ready to give the safety blanket away, and move on without it and like find your safety in other ways. It really is a great card for like increasing our skill when it comes to self-soothing and taking care of ourselves. It's a card that can also take us out of habits like over-functioning and realizing, we don't have to overgive. We don't have to overfunction to maintain this relationship. Like what happens if I pull back into my center, into my own energy? How do I hold that space and the discomfort of that? Often with the 8 of Cups, we are getting a wider capacity to deal with emotional discomforts and take them less personally. So if you pulled this card, this eclipse actually does show an eclipse in the artwork of the card, because this is a card that says we get to eclipse something out of our life that is no longer relevant. So what an amazing energy to tap into today. You get to let go of something that you don't need anymore. And you get a big up-leveling from that. You get to go into like a different octave of some area of your life. Often when we sacrifice something, let something go, even if we don't feel ready to, the universe rewards us with something that's going to fill that void. So that's very exciting. If you picked card number 2, we have a court card for you. It is the Knight of Cups. The Knights are the energy within us that want to go on an adventure and explore. So it's an adventure and exploration of the feelings of relationships. I always think of this card as like a very flirty energy. I think of it kind of almost as like a Romeo or a Casanova kind of vibe. So, you can take that quite literally. If your question was something about your love life, maybe you're meant to bring a bit more flirtation and playfulness and romance into that, whether you're partnered or not. Maybe you're going on more dates. Maybe you're refreshing your relationship with your long-term partner in some way. But it doesn't have to be with relationships at all. It could just be about bringing that energy of romance and flirtation to your life or to the question that you asked. This card invites a little bit of like a lighter energy when it comes to the emotional life and this sense of play and this sense of pleasure. What feels good? Like what feels good in my heart? What feels good in the body? What feels fun? So if you picked card number 2, this is a great season and moment for you to really lean into that aspect of Leo that is really about enjoyment and fun. And pleasure as well. If you think about a pack of lions, they're all like cuddling with each other. There is kind of this idea of community as well with it. So love this Knight of Cups energy this season. It's very playful. Trying to think if there's any sort of dark side things I want to share with it. I mean, it is this sort of lighthearted energy. I sometimes when I don't know why I keep thinking about love with this card, but like sometimes when I pull this card for someone that's like dating or something, I often say, okay, like, just like, ask the right questions and watch out to make sure this is not like a player situation or like if it's actually aligning with what you want. Because sometimes the Knight of Cups can be a little bit like so experimental and light with emotions that like if you're feeling sort of more serious about something, it can feel a little bit like a frivolous energy. The King of Cups is when we really ground into emotional intelligence. This is more of like exploring our emotional world a little bit. So, if we're piggybacking off of that 8 of Cups before and we're increasing capacity for like whatever and like healing attachment issues and all of that, this can also be about exploring different ways of kind of dealing with the emotional experience it is to be a human, and gaining some more expertise, knowing that the next step is Queen and King of Cups, which is when we gain real maturity and emotional intelligence and fluency around something. So it's okay if there's a little bit of Bambi legs with this as well. Just like hold it lightly and let it be enjoyable and fun. Okay, if you picked card number 3, you got our 1 major arcana for the day. Major arcana have to do with sort of bigger picture archetypal things that are moving through. And so this card does speak very loudly within the reading. And so if we're thinking of it generally as like a message for this eclipse day that we are celebrating together, this is the card that gives us the biggest emphasis among these water cups cards that we pulled. The Chariot is all about turning a chapter. We talked earlier about this idea of reaching a different octave or a higher octave of some phase in our life, our emotional world in terms of the 8 of Cups. Often with the Chariot, we are also, we're switching chapters. We're going to the next octave of things. It's kind of like there is an adventurous energy to it. It's not quite as freewheeling and light as the Fool, because it's the 7th card. It has it has the experience of having traveled through the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers. Like there is a wealth of experience within the Chariot. And so it's a little bit more of like a calculated change, like a calculated risk, or like a journey that you have prepared for in some way. The reason the card really is emphasizing this yellow color, which feels very solar eclipse, sunshine appropriate, is because it has to do with the 3rd chakra, which is our will. It's kind of our willpower. It's like almost like when we intentionally put action and energy into doing something, like, we pack up our chariot, we saddle up the horses and we go. We've prepared for it. And like, we know that it's going to require some sort of effort. It has a sort of knight-like quality to it as well, in the sense that there is this journey kind of baked into it. The Chariot often has to do with the theme of home. So sometimes you're literally moving home or changing something about your home or changing jobs or going somewhere new or traveling and all of that. But more broadly speaking, we can think of it like, how do we feel at home in ourselves? And since it is couched in all these really emotional cards, like I think if you got this card, part of the thing to reflect on is, what do I need to feel at home in myself in this next chapter as we go through this portal? And how can I make this home feel more comfortable and aligned to where I am in my life right now? Which brings me to the 4th card. I like how these are all threading together really nice. If you picked card number 4, you have this reversed 4 of Cups, our only reversal. I actually very much like seeing this card in reverse. I often reference, the reason they kind of segue between each other is because I often reference Marie Kondo and The Art of Tidying Up when I see the 4 of Cups, especially when it's right side up, because Right side up, this card is kind of like a stagnant energy. It's water cups inside of 4, which is like a contained vessel, and water needs to keep flowing. It can only stay in a vessel for so long before it goes stagnant. So often with the 4 of cups, we're needing to like release some kind of stagnancy. There's some sort of boredom. There's a little bit of a sleeping at the wheel vibe that we need to sort of like wake up in this, smell the flowers and bring some fresh energy in. But it's reversed, which tells me that the water is starting to flow. Like if you picked card number 4, something that may have felt sort of stuck or stagnant, or I don't know what to do, up until now, this tells me that things are going to start to move and flow again. And, you can take this like Marie Kondo metaphor of like really sort of looking around and being like, okay, what in my life do I want to sort of dislodge and shake up so that that fresh energy can come in? So yeah, I feel all the cards really connecting to each other, because the 8 of Cups is talking about like releasing an emotional situation that no longer serves. This is getting us to wake up from boredom and stagnancy and things that kind of have become too still and need some freshness in it. That Chariot and that Knight of Cups that Chariot is carrying us forward into another chapter, asking us to change things. The Knight of Cups is bringing that light, adventurous spirit to things. So no matter which card you got, it seems like this eclipse is a really wonderful moment for us to bring some positive emotional change to our life and bring ourselves into more alignment, and also bring ourselves into the next adventure, like this next chapter where like we have more of our dreams coming true, which really, that's kind of what it's all about, like we get to dream whatever life we want to dream. The entire project is to walk in beauty and like create a life and an existence that we feel beautiful within, that like feels really, really good to us. And we do that through our choices and the habits that we have and the work that we do in ourselves to let go of things that aren't relevant for us or are harming us or like aren't feeling good anymore or have just simply run their course. Like with that 4th card, the 4 of Cups, like it doesn't have to be any drama. It might just be that like something has run its course and it's been sitting there stale for a little while and it's time to go and refresh it. And that is ready to happen. So those are our 4 cards for today. If you want to chime in on the chat and tell me which card you got, or share about your specific situation and get a little bit more of a personalized take on it, we have a few minutes left and I'm happy to do that. Yeah. Give you guys a moment. See a message in there, but I think it's not about this reading. Okay. Well, if there are no questions, thank you so much for tuning in. You can always connect with me through social media. I'm on Instagram as Bornwitchy, and I do answer personal questions there. Patricia picked card number 1. So she is in this 8 of Cups experience of up-leveling herself by letting go of emotional situations and attachments that have run their course and going to a next level, letting go of the safety blanket. Thank you, Karen. I love always seeing you here, even though I can't see your face anymore. It's always nice to know you're here in the chat. You picked number 4. Okay, so it's funny, like this 4 and 8, of course, they have a relationship with their numerology. Kind of interesting. They're, 2 4s is an 8. They kind of build on each other. That's an interesting thing to look at for a second, the 4 and 8. Like, there's something with the 4 that is like just this sense of stagnancy and boredom that wants to move. And then by the time we get to the 8, it's like, we don't just need a little refresh. We're like ready to really walk away. So it's interesting how they kind of build on each other. The 8 of Cups is a bit more almost like decisive in making a break with something and like leaning into that Chariot of like, I am ready to move on, or like 180 this thing or whatever. Whereas the 4 of Cups is a little bit more gentle. It's a little bit more like, what can I sort of zhuzh and refresh to like feel a little bit more like awake to my life and like not just doing things by default. Asking if she should embark on a wellness journey for Patricia. I would say yes. Like, yes. If you got 8 of Cups and you're thinking of embarking on any kind of journey, honestly, this whole reading is very supportive for embarking on a wellness journey, because all of these cups cards are all about our wellness, specifically our emotional wellness. And, you know, our emotional wellness then influences our mental wellness. Like our thoughts get cleaner when we're feeling more emotionally well, our physical wellness for sure, our connection to spirit. And Eight of Cups is like when you are walking into sort of a next step of things. So yes, I would say for sure embark on a new wellness journey and I would say, even though you picked that first card, because we have all these other cards here too, I would say like enjoy the process of figuring out what your team of practitioners is for that, or what the habits are for that. I would also say with that Eight of Cups, like think about what you're really ready to like eliminate and say no to. And maybe it's something that is going to feel a little bit like difficult to take away, but that's where that Knight of Cups comes in, of like, you don't have to do it alone. You can find support, like you can find fun ways to do that. Like, for example, with me, like one thing that particularly when I used to live in New York, I would work on with my wellness journey was like little spurts of anxiety and things like that. And I got really into yoga because I thought it was so much fun. And so it was this really fun and pleasurable way to, you know, heal and work on this thing in myself that was maybe causing me to like lean on other ways of managing things that weren't as healthy, which is that with that Eight of Cups. So I would say it's a hard yes. Waffling between 1 and 4. I mean, maybe those two seem so connected, like we said, like they both are. They're both bringing kind of like fresh energy. So yeah, for you, Karen, maybe it's more about kind of looking almost closer into like where are the little feelings of sort of boredom and stagnancy around you in terms of things in your life, relationships, like habits and all of that, and bringing little tweaks to them, like bringing a bit of freshness. Like I think the nice thing about the Four of Cups, like there's something kind of like ceremonial about it too. Like the person in the card is having kind of like a tea ceremony. So sometimes it can be just like bringing a little bit more ceremony into your day-to-day to move energy in more kind of subtle ways. All right. I think we are coming to time. If anyone else wants to share their card, I have like a minute to give you a little bit more of a personalized reading. Happy eclipse. I hope everyone's feeling good. I know, hey, I mean, at least it's not a full moon. Like full moon, sometimes, you know, we're losing sleep and it can feel a little bit more intense. By the time we see each other again, we'll be through this portal. I think we'll be in Virgo season. I think it's going to be a much calmer energy, but they'll probably have been like, expect for there just to be shifts in these next 2 weeks, and not in a fearful way. Like try to hold it lightly and positively and know that the things that are changing and clearing out right now are opening us up for this back to school season that's coming, and we get to infuse the void with things that are more relevant and that we want. So that's what I've got for you today. See you in a month. Is romance coming for me? I'm just going to pull you. Which card did you pull, Luke? Which one did you get? Let's see if romance is coming for Luke. Seven of Cups. Probably a lot of choices. Seven of Cups is like more cups. Is like a buffet of delights. So the challenge for you, again, we were talking about the heart center. When it's Seven of Cups, you might have a lot of options. It's a great card for dating. It's very dreamy. It's very romantic. It can be a little smoke and mirrors and confusing. But what the Seven of Cups asks you to do is to like not be too mental about things, like not be too stressed about things, but really let your heart be the compass, you know, as you navigate, like what delight from this buffet should I put in my mouth? So I think that there's going to be a lot of romantic options, and it's a great season for dating, and just have fun with it. Be in that Knight of Cups flirty energy and hold it with a light touch and allow it to be an exercise in tuning the compass of your heart so it can guide you towards positive and supportive and healthy delights versus like the naughty, greasy, mozzarella stick version of it, if that makes sense. All right, everyone. Oh, and you got number 2. Which one was that again? You had the Knight of Cups, the flirty energy. Time time to flirt and explore. Might not be time to settle, but it is time to flirt and explore. This would be a great question to bring to your astrological chart. We should look at that. I do that too. I do tarot, I do astrology. I combine the two. Astrology is kind of more predictive than tarot in a way. Like tarot is more about getting into the present moment, but astrology is a bit more like a good way to look at timing and things like that. So, all right, my darlings. Thank you so much. Love you all. Happy eclipse. Message me on Instagram if you want to chat more about your situation, and I'll see you next month. Bye.